Zach, how are you liking the Disney Plus shows, the Marvel ones specifically?
Um, I mean, love Loki, love Moon Knight, liked WandaVision, didn't love it like a lot of people did. Um, She-Hulk has been hit or miss for me. It started off good, and then it's just kind of getting. I, I'll save my thoughts on it for my full review, but like,
Yeah, fair enough. I can tell you right now, I've jumped off of it. I'll finish it. I'll binge the last four but this is the first show I've ever done that. I've just after episode five, I was like, I just don't find myself wanting to come to this every week anymore. So I'm just gonna wait
yeah,
until it's all out. I'll binge it just to finish it. But if you ask me, a lot of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, I think they have great starts, and then I think they start to fizzle out near the middle and the end. I feel like that's been a consistent thing for me with these shows. And every time they finish, except for WandaVision and at the moment She Hulk as well, I think to myself, that should have just been a movie. Why didn't they just do a movie? Like, this didn't feel like it needed to be a TV show. It doesn't even really feel like they're structured as TV shows a lot of the time.
Moon Knight should have been a movie. Are you kidding
Moon
me?
Knight should have been a movie. Absolutely.
It would have been so awesome, but
Well,
heck,
you know
what can you
what?
do?
It took them 8 tries, but I think they finally came to that conclusion as well because Armor Wars is no longer going to be a TV show. They are transitioning into a theatrical film.
It sure
This
is.
comes from Variety. Marvel's Armor Wars, originally planned as a TV series for Disney Plus, is being redeveloped as a feature film, Variety has learned. Armor Wars will star Don Cheadle reprising his MCU role of James Rhodey, aka War Machine. The project is based on Marvel's Comics 7-issue arc of the
Yeah.
same name within the story of Iron Man, and Fuzzy must face what happens when Tony Stark's tech falls into the wrong hands. And that quote comes to us from Variety. When I saw this announcement, when was this? I think it was Thursday, Friday, something like that. When they announced this, I was like, yes, finally. I think this could be the start of Marvel realizing some of what they're doing on Disney Plus isn't working. Because when they first announced Disney Plus Marvel shows, I was through the roof excited. It was like Marvel Cinematic Universe while I'm sitting on my couch. And it's going to be weekly, and it's going to be like the budget of movies. Like, this is going to be so great. And I've enjoyed the majority of them. I think the only one I can say I haven't enjoyed so far is She-Hulk, since it's the only one I bailed on. But
which is kind of ironic hearing you of all people say that, because you've
yep.
been telling me for
Oh, dude, I
months and
was
months and
so
months.
disappointed. I was so
Yeah.
disappointed. Just like, I loved the first episode. The first episode and episode 2, episode 3, that is what I thought the show was gonna be, and that's what I was expecting, and that's what I was excited for. And
It's just
then,
so repetitive.
yeah, it
Look,
it honestly feels. First of all, it feels like they don't have any direction. They keep saying it's a sitcom, but it's not funny. I mean, humor is subjective, but I feel
there's
like they use humor.
I wouldn't say it's completely unfunny. I think there's again, I'll save my
Yeah,
full thoughts for when I
yeah.
actually record my review on it, but like
I've chuckled, I've smiled a couple times, but I think the biggest thing for me is that the way they use humor in the show feels the same way they use humor in like the movies and all the other projects. It doesn't feel different enough to me.
yeah.
And so and they still play it out like they want to have a through line story, but then it just feels like a lot of filler, and
Yeah.
honestly, it just feels like wasted potential. It felt like a wasted opportunity. After episode 3, I just feel like they didn't know what to do with it, and it just got too goofy and weird. It-
Mhm.
I don't know. I'll finish it. I'll see how I feel once it's all over. But yeah, I know it's very ironic. I was pumped for this show. I
Yeah.
thought for sure it was gonna be just a grand old time, and for 3 episodes, it was. I was really enjoying it, but then it just fell off the deep
Loved
end.
that premiere. I really, really loved the
Mhm.
She-Hulk premiere. Like with Mark Ruffalo in there and everything, like kind of training her up, and like like how she got the powers, I thought was really clever.
Yeah.
But it's not just like, oh, this is family genetics, like because she's Bruce Banner's cousin, she will therefore also have the powers, which wouldn't make any sense. That, like, the fact that she got the powers at all is a complete accident. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate that the series is like leaning into that. But aside from that, I'm tired of seeing her swipe left on guys on Tinder. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
want to
just
see that
weird.
anymore.
And like what's her what's her hero journey been? I don't know. Well, we went on a tangent for She-Hulk, but basically with
Yeah.
Armor Wars, I love this idea of Armor Wars so much. The Tony Stark's gone; he's no longer there to protect his technology. What happens if it gets in the wrong hands?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as a show, it would have had a strong couple episodes in the middle there. It probably would have felt filler. It probably would have felt like it went on for too long, and we all would have
Would
been
have felt
saying,
drawn out,
yeah, yeah, it would have been
you
drawn
know.
out. And I think there's so much potential for there to be drama and stakes that this would be awesome to see on the big screen. And I also love that Don Cheadle is getting to
Mm-hmm.
star in his own movie because, like Scarlett Johansson, he's been around since Iron Man 2.
He sure has. I have a stat for the class. If anybody is listening to the podcast, anybody in the chat, think about this for a second. Don Cheadle been with MCU since Iron Man 2, which is great. Don Cheadle's been around for a long, long time. The man's going to be 57 years old when Armor Wars hits theaters.
That's insane.
Which is what I'm getting to. He is going to be the oldest starring vehicle in an MCU movie ever at 57 years old, which I think is incredible. And as a
Wow,
person of
really?
color as well, which is just awesome. Like, yeah, no, Robert Downey Jr. certainly was not that old when the Iron Man movies came out. Chris Evans, definitely not that old. Don
Yeah,
Cheadle,
true.
57 years old now. Like, this is a dude who was in like Traffic with Steven Soderbergh like 20 years ago, getting
Wow.
Oscar nominations and everything like that. So, like seeing someone like, you know, a little bit more seasoned get that spotlight. Is it going to be a good movie? I hope so. I think it's going to
Yeah,
be a
me
really
too.
nice political question that it's going to ask the audience. What if Tony Stark's materials get into the wrong hands? I think it's going to be really cool. Is it going to be as memorable as some of the other MCU movies? I don't know. It's going
Yeah,
to
it's
be a
hard to
while. They
say.
haven't even given us a release date yet, have they?
I honestly think at this point it's going to get bumped.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to come out at the time that they scheduled it because they're not just like what I read anyways. They're not just taking the scripts from the TV show and they're making the movie out of them. They are totally like redeveloping it. So they're gonna be rewrites. Their money per hour is gonna go. It's gonna like double because they were probably preparing for like 6 hours, and now they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get it down to two. So the budget they had for the show, they're gonna be able to spend over the course of 2 hours now. So the movie hopefully should look
Watch
really
them make
good.
it a 3-hour movie.
Oh my goodness, no. Please
Man.
no. But what's interesting about Armor Wars, correct me if I'm wrong, if they keep the title, which that's a whole other conversation, do you think they're going to change the title? But if they keep the title Armor Wars,
That's
I
interesting.
believe it's going to be the first MCU movie with a title that's not of a main character or a group.
Is it? I'm trying to think.
Eternals is kind of a gray area. I count that as a group, Eternals.
Well, yeah, no, Eternals is a team, but I'm like trying to think back now. Shoot, you might be right. Because I was thinking of Secret Invasion, but that's a TV show. That could have been a movie in
Yeah.
its own right,
I
too. With the
wish that one was
cast that they
becoming a
have,
movie too.
with Amelia Clark and Olivia Colman coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like that could have very easily hit the big screen. But
Yeah.
I'll take what I can get with Secret Invasion. I think it's gonna be fun. But again, not to digress too much, but Armor Wars, I don't know if they're gonna switch the title. I think it still sounds really cool. I mean, they're not gonna sit here and call the movie Rhodey just because that
Rhodey.
sounds boring, you know. Uh,
Is there
I
any
don't.
chance they attach Iron Man's name to it for brand recognition?
I don't think so. I
No.
don't think so. I think, you know, if they cast if so here's my thing. I think if they put the Iron Man name on it, people are going to be expecting Robert Downey Jr. to come back and he's not. He is done. You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be seeing him anymore. Which again, like with Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine, I sound like a huge hypocrite. Never say never, you know? But I just don't see it happening. I don't see Kevin Feige going back and being like, "Oh, hey, my studio's been floundering. People are hating me. So here's Tony Stark again." Like, I don't see him doing that. You
Yeah, I
know,
don't
I
want
see
them
him.
to do that either. Like even the
See,
idea of the AI that people throw out there, like he's coming back as the voice for an AI. I don't want any of that.
mm-mm.
I think it's so much better. Um, just leaving it where it is. You know, I kind of think back when it comes to like deaths like that in the MCU, and the creators of Friends, they once said, I think it was Martha Kaufman. I know it goes back to Friends.
Mm-hmm.
The idea, people would bring up the idea of a reunion movie or another season or something like that, and they basically said like, you know, if we give it to them and it's not what they, you know, want, or it's not what they expect, or the rose colored glasses come off and, you know, the movie isn't the dream that they wanted it to be,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of takes everyone's enthusiasm for the show down a little bit. The fact that we're hankering for more, it's the old classic leave them wanting more, right? It's kind
Yep.
of like Iron Man. Tony Stark went out so well, the complete perfect character arc, that it left us like, we want to see him again because he's so good. But if we get him again, I think it's gonna be like, oh well, this felt kind of derivative or forced or
Such a
milked
heartbreaking
out.
goodbye too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just leave it where it is. You
Yeah,
know,
it's gonna have.
like,
He's gonna have so much more of an impact as that character left where he is than if they just brought him back for a
well, and
cheap
if you
cameo.
and think about this, if you bring Robert Downey Jr. back for Armor Wars, then he's going to be overshadowing what people should be focusing on, which
Mm-hmm.
is Don Cheadle.
Don
So that is
Cheadle,
a
yeah.
horrible move to bring him back for Armor Wars, in my opinion. So just give Don Cheadle that spotlight that he's worked hard for and that he deserves. And then we'll leave well enough alone there. I don't think it has an attached director yet, does it?
Not that I've seen, no,
Okay.
but
Um,
I could be wrong.
who do you think should direct it?
Oh,
Is that
I'm
too
really
much of a
bad
far
with
cry?
kind of. I don't know if it's gonna be like the Russo brothers would be great, but I don't think they're coming back to the MCU for a little bit.
No.
Um, I'm terrible with. Do you have one off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head, but I mean, with the news that Michael Waldron is writing the scripts for Secret Wars, I mean, I could see them like, maybe like pulling him into direct. I mean, with Michael Giacchino directing Werewolf by Night, you never really know.
Mm-hmm.
You never really know. People could like pop up out of nowhere from different departments in movies and be like, I wanted to try my hand at directing, which I really respect. So
Yeah.
it's too early to tell, but
I mean, I would kind of feel a little nostalgic and full circle if John Favreau came back to do it, but he's got so
oh,
much on
wouldn't
his
that be
plate.
great? Wouldn't
Yeah,
that
but
be
he's
great?
he's got so much going on. I don't with Mandalorian and Star Wars and stuff. I don't think he would be able to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I can't wait for season 3 too. Not to get
Mm-hmm.
into Star Wars land, but um one more question for you, Zach. Do you think this comes out in the multiverse saga, or do you think they wait until after Secret Wars?
I think it comes out in the Multiverse Saga because Multiverse Saga still has 2 more phases to go, and
Hmm.
I think it could still make the cut. And I heard that this is supposed to come right off of Secret Invasion.
Oh, is it
So
really?
I think
Okay.
because Don Cheadle is in Secret Invasion, I think it's gonna connect off that. So I think they wanted to come out as soon as they can get
Hmm.
it out,
See, that
and
part I didn't know.
it
Um,
might take Blade's spot. We don't know.
oh,
They
with
might
all
have a
that
spot
drama that's
open.
going on. I mean, I mean, it just all depends. I mean, like, they could not finish Blade by the time that the proposed release date was at Hall H, and they could put something like New World Order in that spot because New World Order is supposed to start
Mhm.
filming like beginning of next year. So, like, they could. I don't want them to rush that project into November of 2023, but they might have to. If Blade's not doing anything, then they're gonna have to put another project there, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna have
who
to
knows,
happen.
really? Yeah.
But question is for you guys: are you excited for Armor Wars now that it's a movie? Are you disappointed that it's no longer a TV series you can watch for free at home? Comment down below and let us know all your thoughts and opinions on that, guys. And let's take a look at what you guys are saying.